Well, it began in 1951 when the Idaho National Laboratory's Environmental Breeder Reactor 1, just outside Arco, harnessed enough nuclear energy to power 4 light bulbs. Then 4 years later, an entire city. It would also be the not-so-bright spots, like a meltdown later that same year, followed by our country's first and only fatal reactor accident in 1961. The history of nuclear power is riddled with highs and lows, of course, but all along, over the ensuing 6 decades, Idaho has been involved in the advancement of nuclear as clean energy. And more recently, there's been a bit of a renaissance of nuclear in America and the world, too, to work on solving the looming energy crisis. And of course, the Gem State just might be at the center of that solution, with Governor Brad Little signing an executive order this afternoon. So we bring in Joe Paris with the question is, what did we get committed to doing?
Basically, the state of Idaho is going to work with the federal government to, as you highlighted, be one of the centers of the nuclear world, specifically at INL, Brian. And this is all part of the Western Governors Association meeting at INL. Governor Little signed the executive order at the National Lab establishing the Idaho Advanced Nuclear Energy Task Force. So the goal is to position the Gem State at the forefront of nuclear innovation under the Trump administration's new energy policies. And among its primary objective, the task force, they will evaluate the feasibility of deploying advanced nuclear technologies within Idaho to start out, including small modular reactors, microreactors, and molten salt reactors. Governor Little explained why.
The world is changing rapidly. Energy demand is expected to increase by an unprecedented 30% in the near future. We cannot do that with our legacy energy. We are going to have scalable, safe nuclear energy. We are uniquely positioned here in Idaho and with the lab. We are the home of the lab, the nation's flagship nuclear research facility, and a global leader in innovation.
Governor Little went on to explain how the president's recent executive orders on energy fits with his vision and how Idaho is positioned to benefit.
They will look at everything from workforce training, one of the president's EOs, regulatory modernization, one of the president's EOs, and partnership with the federal government and private sector to ways Idaho can strengthen the role of America's nuclear hub. It's not just about technology, it's about Idaho's future. Through this task force, Idaho will continue to lead not only in supporting innovation, but shaping the national conversation about energy dominance and stewardship.
There are certainly questions, though, out there, critics who have concerns about spent nuclear fuel, or nuclear waste, so to speak, and what to do with it, what dangers come with it. And Governor Little addressed that. He says that projects on that very topic are crucial at INL.
We got to figure out how to best take care of it. And John's team here does all the cutting edge research on how long do you burn this fuel? What happens when you burn it? He's got a library out there, they call it, where they're doing all this research. Somebody is going to build the scalable small modular reactor or other reactor. We are in a race with our enemies about what country's going to win this. But the progress that we've seen literally in the last 6 months, my confidence has gone way up that we're going to win that race. And a lot of it's because of what John and the people here at the lab have done.
And when you ask questions about, well, why is there going to be such an increase in energy use? What is this potential energy crisis? Brian, it really focuses on things like AI. And I don't know how many of our viewers realize the amount of power AI uses. For example, they said if you use explanation points when you're using something like ChatGPT, or you say thanks, I mean, on average, it costs millions of extra computing dollars to just put in extra characters. And when you kind of zoom that out to the global stage, the energy demands are significant for big projects.
And by energy in Idaho, that usually means water. So that applies to that. But this microreactor stuff, this was kind of part of what they wanted to do instead of the wind farm there in the Magic Valley with that proposal, that kind of microreactor stuff. Again, we'll see what happens with that. I know that one didn't get a lot of publicity or hope going forward.
It is still on the table, and it's so interesting that you mentioned water in this conversation, because Governor Little, as a practical application, said you could use some of these smaller nuclear reactors to do things like water desalination, which could really help address the water crisis in the American West.
I was going to say, not here, but
just California,
our neighbors.
Colorado River,
I got it. All right, thank you very much, Joe.